Not everyone has $50,000 to drop on a brand new car, and honestly, you don't need to. Some cars deliver incredible value and solid performance without emptying your wallet. And today, I'll show you 9 amazing budget-friendly cars that are actually worth buying. And trust me, number 4 is so underrated, people have no idea how good it really is. Starting off at number 9 is the 2005 to 2007 Toyota Corolla. This little econo box might be the smartest financial decision you'll ever make. Under the hood, you've got a 1.8-liter 4-cylinder engine, pushing about 126 to 130 horsepower, with Toyota's legendary 1ZZ FE engine. This generation Corolla, known as the E140 in Toyota speak, is built on the MC platform that Toyota absolutely perfected after years of refinement. These things are practically immortal with basic maintenance, and I mean basic. Like changing the oil when the little sticker tells you to, these cars can easily surpass 250,000 miles. I'm not exaggerating when I say there are Corollas from this generation still cruising with over 300,000 miles on the clock. Toyota overbuilt these engines to the point of absurdity. For transmission, you've got either a 5-speed manual, which is actually pretty enjoyable to row through the gears, or the 4-speed automatic. Fuel efficiency is another major win, with these models consistently delivering 28 to 32 miles per gallon combined. The LE trim averaged 27 city, 35 highway by EPA standards, though real-world drivers often report even better numbers. You can typically find a clean 2005 to 2007 Corolla for between $3,000 and $5,000, depending on mileage and condition. The LE trim is the sweet spot. It adds power windows, locks, and keyless entry without the cost of the XRS performance model, which actually has a different, less reliable engine. And you know what? They hold their value remarkably well. Number 8 on our list is the 2003 to 2010 Pontiac Vibe. Toyota, reliability hiding in GM clothing. This is one of those industry insider secrets where badge engineering actually works in your favor. The Vibe rocks a Toyota-sourced 1.8-liter 4-cylinder engine producing 126 to 132 horsepower, depending on the year. If that sounds familiar, it's because it's essentially the same powertrain as the Corolla we just discussed. The beauty here is that while everyone and their grandmother knows that Toyota hold their value like gold bars during an economic collapse, the Pontiac badge tricks people into thinking they're buying American, which means you can usually snag one for less. There were actually 3 distinct powertrain options across the Vibe's life. The base model got the 126 horsepower version, while the GT model received the high-revving 2ZZ GE engine, making 180 horsepower, the same engine used in the Lotus Elise, no joke. In later years, 2009 to 2010, they swapped to a 2.4-liter, making 158 horsepower. All are reliable, but the base 1.8-liter is the best spot for longevity. Transmission options include a 5-speed manual, a 4-speed auto, and in the GT, a 6-speed manual. These cars typically go for $3,500 to $5,500, and they offer something the Corolla doesn't: genuine practicality. The hatchback design means you can fold down the rear seats and haul surprisingly large items. One of the coolest features that nobody talks about, the front passenger seat folds completely flat forward, allowing you to carry items up to 8 feet long inside the car with the hatch closed. Fuel economy is solid at 26 to 30 miles per gallon combined, and the reliability is outstanding. These cars regularly hit 200,000 miles with just routine maintenance. Now, of course, Pontiac doesn't exist anymore, but before you panic about parts availability, remember that underneath that Pontiac skin beats the heart of a Toyota. Most mechanical components are identical to the Matrix or Corolla, so you'll never struggle to find parts. Lucky number 7 on our countdown is the 2006 to 2007 Honda Accord with a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine. Notice I specified the 2.4-liter, that's important. While the V6 models offer more power, the 4-cylinder is the sweet spot for reliability and cost of ownership. This generation Accord strikes a perfect balance between looking presentable and flying under the radar. It's the automotive equivalent of a well-tailored blue suit. Nobody's going to think it's from Armani, but nobody's going to think it's from Walmart either. Performance-wise, the 2.4-liter engine produces a respectable 166 horsepower and 160 pound-feet of torque, which is more than enough to merge onto highways without saying your final prayers. The 5-speed automatic transmission, or manual if you're lucky enough to find one, shifts smoothly. And the ride quality is honestly impressive for a car in this price range. Fuel economy is decent but not amazing at 24 to 26 miles per gallon combined. However, where this car really shines is in long-term durability. These engines were designed with a timing chain rather than a belt, which means you don't have to worry about that expensive maintenance item that plagues many other vehicles in this class. With proper maintenance, these Accords can easily reach 250,000 to 300,000 miles. The interior holds up remarkably well too. Honda used quality materials that don't degrade into a sticky, cracking mess after a few years in the sun. You can typically find good examples between $4,000 and $6,000. One word of caution, these models were popular targets for theft in some areas, so make sure any example you're considering has good security features or add an aftermarket system. At number 6 is the 2007 to 2009 Mazda 3. The car that proves budget-friendly doesn't have to mean boring. The Mazda 3 from this era comes with either a 2.0-liter 4-cylinder badged as the I-trim, producing 148 horsepower, or a 2.3-liter in the S-trim, pumping out 156 horses. Both engines are part of the MZR family, developed alongside Ford, but Mazda's versions got different tuning and generally better reliability. The 2.0-liter tends to be slightly more reliable long-term and offers better fuel economy at 24 to 28 miles per gallon combined. The 2.3 drops to about 22 to 26 miles per gallon, but gives you a more satisfying shove when you punch the throttle. Where the Mazda 3 really separates itself from the pack is in the driving experience. The steering is precise, the suspension is tuned to be firm but not punishing, and the overall package feels much more expensive than it actually is. It's one of those rare budget cars that you might actually take the long way home in just because you enjoy driving it. Inside, the material quality puts many competitors to shame. Soft touch surfaces in the right places, a driver-oriented cockpit, and seats that actually provide decent support on longer drives. It's clear that Mazda's designers didn't get the memo that affordable cars are supposed to feel cheap. These cars typically run between $3,800 and $5,500 on the used market, and they can reliably surpass 200,000 miles with proper care. The 5-speed automatic is solid, but if you can find a manual, grab it. The shifter feels like it was pulled straight out of a Miata, with short, precise throws that make every gear change satisfying. Breaking into our top 5 is what I like to call the rolling shoebox. The 2003 to 2011 Honda Element. These are absolute gems if you can get past the looks. It's boxy, it's unusual, and it's definitely not conventionally attractive. But it wasn't trying to be pretty, it was trying to be functional, and at that it succeeded magnificently. For $4,500 to $7,000, you're getting Honda's bulletproof 2.4-liter engine pushing 160 horses. Fuel economy is around 20 to 23 miles per gallon combined due to that brick-like aerodynamic profile, but what you lose in fuel efficiency, you gain in sheer practicality. The Element features doors that open up to reveal, well, basically a small apartment. With the rear seats removed, which is ridiculously easy to do, you've got 75 cubic feet of cargo space. The floors are made of textured urethane that you can literally hose out after a muddy adventure. Available in both front-wheel and all-wheel drive configurations, the Element is surprisingly capable in adverse conditions. These things regularly hit 250,000 miles with just basic maintenance. The timing chain means one less expensive repair to worry about. Just keep an eye on the rear differential fluid if you have the all-wheel drive version. These cars have developed something of a cult following, which has helped them hold their value impressively well. Before we continue, if you're enjoying the list so far, drop a like, comment, and maybe even subscribe. It helps a ton and keeps the content coming. Number 4 on our list is the 2010 to 2012 Ford Fusion Hybrid. This was when Ford actually figured out hybrid tech and Toyota started sweating. For $4,500 to $7,000, you're looking at a comfortable mid-sized sedan pushing 39 miles per gallon combined. That's legitimate hybrid efficiency in a package that doesn't scream, "I'm trying to save the planet," like a Prius. The 2.5-liter Atkinson cycle engine paired with the electric motor gives you a 191 combined horsepower, which feels surprisingly punchy in daily driving. The transition between gas and electric is butter smooth, something Ford absolutely nailed. What nobody talks about is how well these things hold up. The hybrid battery packs in these years are remarkably robust. You'll see plenty with 180,000 plus miles on the original battery. And when they do eventually need replacement, aftermarket options have gotten much more affordable. The interior is actually pretty pleasant to live with. Good materials, comfortable seats, and none of that cheap plastic feel that plagued Fords of the previous generation. The sync system is dated now, but still handles the basics. One insider tip, guys, these cars depreciate like crazy because people were scared of hybrid maintenance. But that fear was totally unfounded. Their loss is your gain. Just make sure the previous owner actually changed the transmission fluid. Ford claimed it was lifetime, but that's complete nonsense. The regenerative brakes feel a bit different if you've never driven a hybrid before, but you'll get used to it in a day or two. Small price to pay for essentially doubling your gas mileage compared to most cars in this price range. Alright, at number 3 is what I consider the ultimate sleeper luxury bargain. The 2004 to 2006 Lexus ES330. For $4,000 to $6,000, you're getting Toyota's legendary 3.3-liter V6 that pushes out a silky smooth 225 horsepower. But this engine isn't about numbers, it's about how it delivers power. There's this buttery torque curve that just wafts you forward like you're being pushed by a gentle breeze. The 5-speed automatic transmission in these years is practically bulletproof. These things hit 300,000 miles without a rebuild. The interior is where this car really shines though. Slip behind the wheel and you're greeted with the cocoon of leather, wood trim, and sound insulation that makes road noise practically disappear. The seats are these perfect thrones that somehow manage to be both plush and supportive at the same time. Most people don't realize the ES shares its platform with the Camry, which means you get all that Lexus luxury with Toyota parts availability and pricing. The timing belt is one maintenance item you absolutely cannot skip. Budget about $600 to $800 every 90,000 miles for that service. Trust me, it's worth every penny. The fuel economy is decent at 20 to 23 miles per gallon, and these cars have this weird quirk where the power steering pumps can get a little whiny after 150,000 miles. Not a safety issue, but something to listen for on a test drive. Also, check the lower control arms. They're a common wear item, but only about $250 to replace, so not a deal breaker. The hidden beauty of the ES330 is that you can pull up to a nice restaurant and look perfectly appropriate without announcing to the world that you're trying too hard. It's luxury for people who don't need to broadcast it. Runner-up at number 2 is the 2003 to 2008 Toyota Matrix, probably the most versatile car ever to hit this price point. Toyota absolutely nailed the practical magic formula with this one, and then inexplicably killed it off. For around $3,800 to $5,800, you're getting the 1.8-liter engine producing 126 horsepower. But this little four-banger is essentially the same engine Toyota used in the Corolla, which means it'll easily cruise past 250,000 miles with just basic oil changes. What makes the Matrix special is that ingenious interior design. The flat load floor with plastic surface means you can haul everything from lumber to mountain bikes without worrying about damaging carpet. The all-wheel drive models are particularly sought after in snow states. Unlike some competitors with fancy electronic all-wheel drive systems that fail expensively, the Matrix uses a simple viscous coupling that's remarkably robust. Just change the rear diff fluid every 30k miles, something most owners never do, and it'll last forever. Fuel economy is excellent at 26 to 30 miles per gallon combined, and as you'd expect from a Toyota product, reliability is top-notch. These cars regularly exceed 250,000 miles with just routine maintenance. The XRS models with the high-revving 180 horsepower engines are rare unicorns that deliver legitimate fun to drive factor, but they're harder to find in good condition because fans tend to drive them hard. The standard models are your best bet for reliable transportation. One thing to watch for: The sunroof drains can clog and cause water leaks. Check the carpet in the front wells for dampness. Also, the dashboard can develop a rattle from the center vent area. Annoying, but not a functional issue. A small piece of felt wedge in the right spot fixes it instantly. Okay, the crown jewel at number 1 is the 2001 to 2005 Lexus LS 430. This isn't just the best car on our list, this might be the best engineered automobile of the entire 2000s, period. The fact that you can get one for $5,000 to $7,000 is nothing short of miraculous today. When Toyota set out to create this generation of LS, they weren't just aiming to compete with Mercedes S-Class and BMW 7 Series, they were obsessed with surpassing them. Engineers spent years perfecting everything from the sound of the door closing to the way the air vents directed airflow. At the heart of this masterpiece is the 4.3-liter V8 producing 290 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. The build quality borders on ridiculous. These cars were assembled in a dedicated facility where the tolerances were measured in fractions of a millimeter. The paint alone went through multiple processes that most car companies wouldn't dream of doing. If you're lucky enough to find one with the ultra-luxury package, you're essentially getting features that didn't become standard on other luxury brands until the 2010s. Air suspension, heated and cooled seats, rear sunshade, parking sensors, and a Mark Levinson audio system that still sounds better than most new car stereos. The air suspension struts can fail eventually, costing about $1,200 per corner to replace. But there are conversion kits to standard springs for about $1,000 total if you don't want to maintain the air system. The timing belt needs changing every 90,000 miles at a cost of about $1,200. Ignore this at your peril. The navigation screens in these cars look ancient now, but everything else has aged incredibly well. The climate control system has separate temperature zones that actually work properly. The leather is thick enough that it doesn't crack easily like in other luxury cars of the era. What I love most about the LS 430 is that it represents the absolute pinnacle of over-engineering. Toyota was proving a point with this car, sparing no expense to create something truly special. The fact that depreciation has brought these down to our price range is one of the greatest automotive bargains of all time. And that's a wrap. So, which of these budget-friendly rides would you choose? Did I miss any hidden budget gems that deserve a spot? Drop your comments below. Before you go, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want more, click on our other videos. You won't be disappointed. Thanks for watching.